Our next step will be to draw a staircase off of our back deck. So let's go ahead and get started on that. I'm going to zoom in on the back deck. Next, we're going to draw a staircase that comes off here, moves over, and comes back down. Now, it's a little bit hard to know exactly where this location is going to need to be at. I'm just going to start by drawing the staircase here, and it might need to get shifted over a little bit so that the staircase will actually come off of the edge of the deck and then wrap itself back around. So my first step will be to come up here to where it has stairs. Make sure that this is 7-inch max, 11-inch tread, exterior. Choose that base level to not be the first floor. Choose it to be this top of footing. You have to remember that there's a lot more grade back here at the back, and that's where this top of footing dimension is originally from. And then it slopes back in this direction. And I know from experience that by choosing this gets us closest to where we actually need the bottom of our footings to be. So in this case, I end up having this base offset that's here, set at -8 inches. Also, as far as the top goes, this is going to need to be first floor. Make sure this -4 inches is set, and it should be. This indicates the step down onto the deck. It was -4 inches off of the first floor. In this case, our staircase should start right where the deck starts, so it needs to be at the same elevation as the deck. Now it's time to draw in that staircase run. So make sure that run is selected. Maybe zoom in just a little bit more. Pick a spot roughly in this area. We will adjust it after the fact. And start to draw straight up. Now, one thing that I'm noticing right away is that this looks really, really wide. Just eyeballing it, I'd say this is probably a 5-foot wide staircase, which is too wide for what we're trying to accomplish. So let's go ahead and hit escape, but only hit the escape key once. Let's look at the properties over here. And now we can see that the width of the staircase is currently set at 5 feet. Let's make it much more narrow. Let's just make this a 3-foot wide staircase. Now let's go ahead and try that again. Click over here somewhere and come straight up. You can see how much more narrow it is. Also, down here below, you can see some gray text. That's telling us how many risers are being created, as well as how many risers are remaining to be created. What I'd like this to get up to is be an 8 and 9, so 8 risers created and 9 remaining, just like this. So at about the 6'5" mark, go ahead and click. Now the next one's going to need to be somewhere in here. I don't exactly know where. Just keep it a nice distance away from here, because if you get it too close, it'll overlap each other, and you don't want that. It can be kind of a nasty situation trying to get that cleaned up. So come over here. We can always adjust them closer later if need be. So click once, and then just come straight down. Once you get over to where the deck is at, just go ahead and click, and you should have something like this that gets automatically assembled for you. Now, I know from previous experience that these should be somewhere in the 4-foot range, probably apart from one another. In the case of this design that I had done earlier, it was 4'2" apart. So let's go ahead and make these 4'2" apart. In order to know that you have that distance correct, come up here to your Annotate tab and add an align dimension to these blue/purple lines. So go ahead and select on a line. We'll try this line right here and this line right here. And come on over and just click somewhere out here in space, making sure you don't touch on anything. Then hit the escape key a couple times to get out of that command. You can see this is 4 foot, 0.5 inches. Next, go ahead and select on this line right here, and let's change that and make this dimension be 4 foot, 2 inches. You can see how the whole staircase shifted itself over. One other thing, I'd like these treads to just kind of line up just a little bit better with one another. So in order to do that, I'm just going to do a little window around here, and I'm going to use our handy dandy move command. I'm going to click here and come down, and whenever you'll see that blue dashed line, you know that you have those all lined up. And go ahead and click on the big green check mark up here. The act of doing this automatically added a railing and automatically created a 3D staircase. One thing to know, though, is that this is going down from here to here, and we really want it to go down from here and back around. In order to do that, there's a down arrow right here. Click on that tiny little down arrow. You'll see that the staircase actually just flipped. You can tell that the arrow just is now going the other way. And finally, we need to move this staircase so it's over here toward the edge. In order to accomplish that, don't click on this part, which is the railing. Click on the staircase as a whole. the railings will follow it. Click the Move command, click the intersection of here, and move over here to the intersection of this. Now, before we go on to the next exercise and start adding railings up here at the decks, let's go ahead and take a look at this in a 3D view and get a better feel for it. You can see now that we have a nice 3D staircase along with a pretty attractive railing to go along with it.